Good morning. Or for some of you it's just morning. And for some of you it's like, stop talking. Okay. For those of you who need me to stop talking, you need to drink loads of water for the next hour. Keep yourselves nice and hydrated. And I'd like to welcome you to this very good morning workshop. And it is around how we move forward in our pathways and in our programmes as we currently are, and to make the most of them and to get the quality recognitions that are there and available to us. So we have Brendan Haughton, who is spearheading this wonderful workshop here this morning. And Brendan is working this in conjunction with Karen O'Donnell, Jean Gamester and Kevin Lee. And these guys are going to take us through a full 45 minutes of very, very, very valuable information. We're very happy that you came here to see how that we can connect all our dots to move forward in our programmes before our Pathways programme kicks in. And alongside of that then, there's going to be questions and answers at the end. So there will be, hold on to your questions and then fire them at the very end. Let me just say a little bit about Brendan. Brendan, did you know I was going to do this?
I did not, indeed. You're waking me up now.
This is where we need to pan the camera around to Brendan and see if we can see his face. So, Brendan has got considerable knowledge in this field, and he was a very successful conference director for the King Lear conference in 2014. He's been a Division M director and the current PR assistant to the district manager for District 71. And so his focus has always been service and service to the members and helping members to get the most out of Toastmasters in so many, many ways. And this is part of all of that for us coming here today. So, we have 45 minutes there or thereabouts for the workshop, and then we have questions and answers after that. So without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Brendan Haughton. Brendan, thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, I've been practicing for the last couple of days, knowing it was an early start on Saturday. I've been practicing presenting in my sleep, talking in my sleep, and walking in my sleep. So I hope I've got it to a reasonable level this morning. Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Firstly, I have left a little questionnaire on the back of the agenda for you. If you wouldn't mind filling it in, I would very much appreciate it. Just to say a few words about why we decided to do this. We have probably the biggest change in Toastmasters ever coming at us. We have an existing programme and we have a new programme coming in then. So we have a transition period. And I don't know if many of you have been involved in work in change management. Yes? Yep. You know how important it is to plan, to start early and get your thoughts together for it. This is a teaser in one respect to try to get people thinking more deeply about what needs to be done. So what I'm going to do for starters is to introduce some of the stats to tell you where we are, and we then see with very good friends and experts, Karen, Kevin and Jean, showing you a pathway forward towards pathways. The important thing to me in one respect is that I believe as officers and as members we have a duty to our other members to help them to complete as much as possible of the existing programme and not have them drop over the edge before pathways comes in. And there is time to do it, it's been planned properly, but we need to act on the ground to do this. So for starters, I'm going to tell you what the present status of District 71 is. District 71 at the moment, these are the figures as of the end of October, had 5,463 unique members. We have 1,082 CCs, these are the figures, no point in me reading them all out. That's the communications track and the leadership track. So we have about 1,500 people on the communications track at various stages. We have on the leadership track 1,000 or thereabouts. So there are more people doing the communications than the leadership. If we go on further, the pre-DTM introduction, the membership, we have 56 ATMs, 38 ATMBs, these are the old ones, and currently we have 180 DTMs. That's slightly over, but now we have a lot of combinations of people that are well on the way to, say, getting their DTMs, and there is time for quite a number of these to get their DTMs. So you can see we've ACB and ALBs, we've 125 of them, but we have 9 ACBs and ALSs. And the ACGs and ALBs are 46 people who are very, very close to getting their DTMs to complete it. And what I've done below that is giving you the figures for number of people who have a CCCL and an advanced one. Most of these people, given the right help and encouragement, if they so wish, could go on to DTM, or certainly to much higher levels. We're asking that DTMs would help others to bring them along, encourage them, and to give them all the advice and assistance they need to do this. And there'll be more about that later on. So, one of the requirements, and more difficult requirements normally, is that you have to serve as a district officer to get your ALS. Now, these are the number of spaces that are available in District 71. This is 2016, 2017. There are 42 area directors, there are division directors, DLT officers, and DLT staff. It's 52 spaces available to spread among those people. Now, there are a lot of people who have done it in the past that are on these programs as well. The total available is 52, but last year, the number that used it to get their ALSs was just 21. We do need to waken people up to this. At your division and your area level, you need to be very conscious that there are people that are coming up that should be asked and prepared to take these roles on so that they can progress. It's a limited pool available for them, and it needs to be made best use of. And this is part of the planning process that we need to get in place. We need to take it in aboard, all of us ourselves, and move along that line. Sorry, I would say those figures are from Mike Raftery. Appreciate that. The number of members in District 71 with no awards whatsoever is 3,337. Do you remember what was the figure I said at first for the number of members?
5463.
Great. When you think of the numbers, really, we do need, in our clubs, in our areas, in our divisions, and in our district, to encourage people to move along the awards system. So please, that is the background to this particular workshop, and what I hope we will achieve over the coming couple of years. The idea that I had was that we might have a number of these workshops or similar around the district with a little bit more information and a little more planning done to see how we can progress it. And one thing I think we do need to have, like any company or group or organisation that is going into transition, is to have a district transition or a committee. Now, I know that Kevin has, as the chief ambassador, he has a list of ambassadors available who will help to initiate the pathway system. It's important that we have a change group for the district, or that we do so informally, or at district and area level. And I think the district managers and directors and the area directors do need to address this at their district council, at their division council, and at their area council meetings, and have their own transition or change management group within it, and to meet regularly from now until the pathways is smoothly introduced. There's a lot to be done. So I'd just like to thank you all very, very much and introduce you to our next speaker. It's Karen O'Donnell with Stepping Stones. Karen's going to take you through the existing programme. Karen, welcome.
I'm so sorry we came to the wrong. It's okay, bye-bye. Thank you very much, Brandon. I'm going to go through the nuts and bolts of what you need to do to achieve your awards in the current system. Now, I'd like to say, when we start off in Toastmasters, I don't know if anybody's aware of DTMs, CC, CL, anybody aware of those initially? That wasn't our reason for coming to Toastmasters. So we weren't saying, oh, I want to get a DTM. But I think I like goals. I'm goals orientated, and I like to know, oh, well, if I do this, okay, I get that. So it sort of keeps me on track, or keeps me focused on something. So I'm not in any way saying, this is what you need to do. You may not have wanted to do your DTM, you may have no interest in doing your DTM, that's absolutely fine. But we're looking at ways that if you are goal orientated and you want to be working towards something, we're looking to assist you in getting there at your pace. This is the current education system. So you will have seen this at the back of your books. I'm just putting it up here. Now my slides are very content heavy because there's a lot of information, and I can send these to you, but it is the various manuals that I'm showing you. I'm going to go through each of these individually. For the ACB, you need to do 2 advanced manuals. We're all aware of that? 2 from this list, any 2, and there's 5 projects in it. And then you have it, your ACB, you do your 2 manuals and you have your ACB. Your ACS, you need to achieve your ACB, and you need to complete 2 extra manuals. This is the bit that I've seen, you need to do 2 extra presentations. Again, all this information is on TI. And the presentations you would give would be from these 2 manuals. The Better Speaker series, which is roughly 15 minutes long each one, and the Successful Club series. Now, Moments of Truth, it can be in segments. So I'm wondering, do you know any club that requires or could benefit from these presentations? Can you see them being of benefit in your clubs?
Yes.
Absolutely. So by you doing these presentations, you are benefiting your club and you're also making progress along your own learning pathway. I say pathway, journey. I'll use journey until Kevin comes up. Just so not to confuse things. New clubs in your area, they could benefit from these. And this is where we brought in the Travelling Toasty to encourage you guys to go outside your club and give your experience to other clubs. Lots of opportunities here to present these. The Advanced Communicator Gold. Here we need to do 2 more advanced manuals. Conduct a presentation from the Successful Leadership or Successful Club series, our youth leadership program. And coach a new member. The 2 tricky ones here, or what people may view as being tricky, are the presentations. These are a bit chunkier in size. And there are ways which you could incorporate these. We have area contests. We have now division conferences. Do you know a division that could benefit from one of these? Leadership, we see leadership workshops at district conference. Can you give one of these? And by even putting this together, it is stretching you outside of the club environment. So now you're tinkering on giving presentations to a larger audience. Again, it's just stretching outside our comfort zone, isn't that what Old Toastmasters is about? You could put on a Leadership Excellence Day for companies in your area. Could they benefit from these? Could they benefit from how to listen effectively? Middle management, could they benefit from these? From speaker to trainer? So these can be offered outside of Toastmasters. We're looking at the leadership side of things now. The ALB. I was checking through I was talking to clubs that have been going for many years, and I've noticed a lot of people just got their CM. They've been in the club many years, and I've known they have given educational presentations. Just they haven't realised they could be getting an award for it.
you need for your ALB, you need to complete your competent leader and your competent communicator. You need to have served 6 months as an officer and attended training. And the only thing that I suppose is challenging, or what they may not be aware of, is that the Successful Club series and the Leadership Excellence. And here they are. Again, can these be given in your club? 10 to 15 minutes. When do you find that, oh, we're down a speaker? If you have members, if we've got VPs in the audience, or club officers here, if you have members who are working towards this award, ask them to have one prepared. There are slides involved. I mean, a lot of the work is done for you. I tend to tweak the slides quite considerably. I can't really say they're content heavy because mine are very content heavy here, but I think you need to know the information. But have your members, if they are focused on goals, like this is what you require. Can you prepare this? The silver, the advanced leader bronze, you need to complete term as district leader. Brendan has touched on that. The high performance leadership. Those 10 to 15 minute presentations, you could put together a morning of those. You could approach your area and say, all your new members, how about I put on this? How about I get 4 or 5 presenters? Now they are now working towards their own goals, their own journey. It's pathways again. You're putting a HPL together. You've got a guidance committee. You have people who are giving the presentations. You're delegating to them. You now have sergeant at arms. You have a whole host, a committee put together for you getting your HPL, and they are also making progress. Can you see this being of benefit to your area or division? So not only are you actively working towards your own journey, you are assisting and serving your members, and isn't that what we're all here for? This makes it very achievable, your DTM, if that is what you want. The high performance leadership, these are the areas you cover. And it's a huge learning curve. Fantastic project to do. So what next? What do you do if you want to get your DTM in the current system? Contact your area division director. Contact me or anybody on the panel here afterwards. We'll tell you how perhaps you can go about it. Let us know what stage you're at. Again, be strategic with your speech progress. Are you a Toastmaster? You can do a presenting a toast stage. There's a few manuals out there that are really short that you can easily do in a meeting. Contact the Greater Toastmasters community. See what they require. And again, above all, enjoy the challenge and have fun. I'm going to hand you over to Kevin Lee. Thank you very much.
Who here is afraid of pathways? Okay, good. The percentage of hands going up is progressively lessening the more I speak to district audiences, so that is very heartening as the Pathways Chief Ambassador. So Karen's given you about 10 slides on the current education program. Who thinks the current education program is easy to understand and straightforward? Excellent. That's the 10 slides in one. That is what we have. You've just said it's easy. So how could you be worried about pathways? What doesn't change in pathways is our foundation. So here's your elevator pitch. Somebody says, what did you do last weekend? I was at Toastmasters. What is Toastmasters about? That's what it's about. Public speaking, interpersonal communication. It is about leading and managing. It's about strategic leadership. And by the way, when you go through the Toastmasters program, confidence comes as an added bonus. So that doesn't change. But the way we are going to deliver that to our members changes significantly. Welcome to Base Camp. Base Camp is where each member will start their journey on pathways, rather than journey on the current education program. Pathways is very customizable, and each member, even if they are on exactly the same path, maybe doing different projects at different times through that path, particularly from level 3 onwards. The best bit about it is that if you dread being a VPE today and wonder what VPEs are going to be like in the future, guess what? It's going to be easier. Because everything will be tracked in a single area for you. Here are the 10 pathways. You have seen elaborated versions containing the projects that make up these pathways. Typically about 14 projects make up a single pathway. And in order to achieve DTM, a member has to complete 2 pathways in addition to various leadership and service requirements as they are under the current education program. Pathways recognizes member achievement a lot earlier. Whose club gives a halfway ribbon, a third stage pin or similar? No? Yep, there are a few clubs that do that just to keep a member's momentum going. Pathways gives you a level 1 achievement after 3 projects. And here's what they're going to look like. As you progress through the levels in your selected pathway, the lights carry on. You will earn your badges, so each pathway has a badge associated with it. If we go back to the slide, you can see motivational strategies is one of the pathways, and that's the badge for motivational strategies. Going forward, at the completion of every level, your certificate is stored in your member profile on toastmasters.org. You can press print to produce that at any time. On reaching level 5, members will have the option of a certificate coming from World Headquarters. So prior to that, your club could make a proper presentation every time a member achieves that. So the certificate appears on the member profile and it will be accessible to the base camp manager. We expect that to be the Vice President of Education for most clubs across our district, but it doesn't have to be. The reason for that is for your club to be valid, you only need register a president and a secretary. So therefore, you can allocate the role of base camp manager to any club officer for that reason. Okay? So you can now have the opportunity of generating that certificate and recognizing the member in the club rather than arriving it through the post. You then have to ask the member to bring it to the club to present. So I think that is an improvement in recognition. And at every level 5, the member can opt for a paper certificate as well. Many club officers have asked what the DCP program will look like going forward. So once pathways is established, you can see that we currently have 6 educational goals as part of DCP. Under pathways, there will still be 6, but the requirements have changed. In addition, today, theoretically, the same member could deliver 20 speeches and claim 2 CCs for a single club. Going forward, TI will stop that. So you cannot have the same person do level 1 4 times and get that award. You have to have 4 different individual members to make up that level 1. So DCP under pathways will be more promoting achievements of individual members. Okay? I don't know how many members physically do 20 speeches just to score 1 DCP point for their club, but it is theoretically possible today. It won't be possible under pathways. There is a transition period between our district going live, likely to be somewhere later in 2017, our region going live actually, because together with District 91, Region 11 will go live together. All 111 million square miles of the region will go live on a single day, sometime in the later half of 2017. And during the 2-year transition period, any of the 6 educational awards under the current system or under pathways will count. So it's a mix and match. It is theoretically possible that you could not produce a single CC in your club and still be distinguished under this system. But that only happens for the transition period, because you have members trying to complete the current educational awards with new members starting on pathways. I suspect that wouldn't happen because it's much easier to get 4 level 1s than it is to get a level 4 or level 5. And certainly in the first 2 years, I don't expect to see very many, if any, level 4 or 5s being put through. So So that's what transition will look like for your clubs. So that's a quick gander through on the changes that have emerged since we last had a district-wide presentation on pathways, which was at the last district conference. And these are the confirmed changes. There's another piece of great news before I introduce Jean Gamester to you as an existing member. You've already had your new member kit under the current system. When we go to pathways, you get your first path for free. Isn't that great? You also get the new pathways new member kit called the Navigator. Won't it be nice if you want to go from base camp to the top of Mount Everest? You quite like a Navigator. So you'll get a Navigator for free, just the PDF version. If you want the printed version, there is a cost associated with that, and it's the practical cost that the member will have to cover if they wanted a printed version. New members that join after Pathways go live will not have the opportunity to have the CC and CL manual, so I will treasure yours if you have one now. Whereas you will already have that, but have a free first path anyway. Okay, so I think that's an added benefit of being a member now, to have access to both the existing and the new system. It's a great privilege to be able to introduce Jean Gamester to you. I first introduced Jean Gamester to a Toastmasters audience when she was district secretary and I was an area director, area governor at the time, and she came to our club officer training. We had a large audience that day in the middle of Scotland. I don't know whether Jean knew what she was coming into, but the audience was about 2.5 times the size of today. Jean has served District 71, although she's now on the wrong side of the border, with her heart and soul. She's been a very successful area director, very successful division director, and last year she came number 4 in the world leading District 91, the 4th
Well done. Well done.
most distinguished district in the world. So she brings a huge amount of experience both as a member, a club officer, and a district officer through all the ranks. And today it is a great privilege that she's here to share that with us here in District 71. I invite you during the breaks and during lunch to mine her for any advice and information that you can have. Please give distinguished Toastmaster Jean Gamester a rapturous applause.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was last May, the last weekend of May, and I'm sitting there briefing the incoming district leadership team and letting them know how we're doing in the current district programme. Are we going to be President's Distinguished, the goal that I had set for the whole of the year, or was it going to be slightly more tricky than that? Well, in response to my news and my beautiful graphs that had shown the trajectory that we would need to go through for membership growth numbers and the actual growth numbers, their faces dropped. And we all looked at each other and thought, there is no way we are going to get President's Distinguished. And then we shook ourselves off and we said, well, it's not going to be through the lack of trying. So we sat there and we thought of all of the ways that we could raise our membership numbers to enough to get ourselves to be President's Distinguished. I mean, we were already in the top 5 in terms of distinguished clubs, which is what determines your world rankings. But if we didn't get to be President's Distinguished, then that wasn't going to be able to count. So we sat there and we worked through a whole load of options. And you know what, when you have to eliminate the options that are cheating, you're not left with many, I have to say. But there was one option that I was really proud of. And it was, we have all of these DTMs in our district. What if we mobilise them? There's only a month to go, but what if we got them involved? Now, it did beg the question, why on earth didn't we get them involved in the first place? But anyway, there's nothing like having a bit of pressure to make the brain work. Anyway, so I wrote to all the DTMs, I got in touch with all the DTMs that I knew, and I said, your district needs you, your clubs need you. I know you're probably all having a lovely time in the clubs that you're part of because you create them these beautiful existences for all their members, but look around you. Are there clubs that need help? Are there clubs that are struggling to get enough members? Are there clubs struggling to get DCP? Are there clubs that are trying to get off the ground but just haven't managed to get those charter members yet? And a number of those DTMs came back to me and they said, Jean will help. And they got out there and they started to help all those clubs. And that and a whole load of other activities that we tried out on in that last month meant that on the 30th of June, my beating heart, 30th of June we managed to get over the line. What a heart attack. And DTMs to the rescue was a key part of that. Who in this room is a DTM? Okay. So we have DTMs here, and I think if you wander out around there, you're going to find more DTMs. DTMs, all they need to do is to be asked for help. So if you need help, a DTM is out there ready for you. I'm going to talk a little bit about some techniques or some areas that you could possibly use in order to get yourselves on that journey. How many of you want to become a DTM before Pathways changes? How exciting! It's really cool. I cannot wait to see this because there are a huge number of opportunities. So one is find yourself a DTM, or even better, find yourself some DTMs who are going to organise themselves into a little conflagration of people who's going to support you all the way across. Find a mentor. There are all sorts of opportunities to not only find existing resources online, but to share resources online, and to ask all of those people who have gone before you to get their stuff online as well. Find somebody in District 71 who is going to curate that stuff and get it onto the district website. Find somebody to go and find stuff out there and get that available to all of you. Ask for help, because there is a huge amount of information out there already, and make use of your website to try and do that. Both our district and your district have websites that are like twin sisters, and we can also share information between us. The First Class District Directors Facebook group is the first group. I'm not bringing that much of a social media girl, I have to say, but it's the first group that I've actively used. When myself and Kevin were club growth directors all those years ago, all of us club growth directors set up a Facebook group so that we could keep in touch with each other and share ideas. And when we became program quality directors, it became the program quality director group, and we shared ideas and tips, etc. And then we became the first ever district directors, and our group became the district directors group. And now we're sharing ideas now. The last email, the last exchange I got involved in was, oh, leadership committee, we're responsible for that. What can we do about making next year's leaders work really well? So this community has been together for 3 years, 3 and a bit years, and who knows how long we will continue to be together. What communities have you got? What communities could the people in this room create to help each other become DTMs? All it takes is one person in this room to step up and go, you know what, I'll create that group, give me your email addresses or your Facebook accounts. That's all it takes. In District 91 we have a HPL gang. I'm not sure they call themselves that. There's a group of people who have not only achieved their own high performance leadership programs, but have helped other people do. They run all sorts of workshops and they support each other. They get DTMs in to act as guidance committee members to support them. Now, when I first did my high performance leadership, I was an area director and I wanted my DTM, and in Teresa's language, I am a northern girl, which meant that I had a number of milestones to hit, and I was going to hit them by the end of my area director year, and one of those was the high performance leadership program. Now, I'm a project manager by profession. I love a spreadsheet and a Gantt chart. It makes me really, really happy. And I thought, well, okay, if I have to do this high performance leadership project, well, that's fine. And I really didn't take it very seriously, if I'm totally honest with you. It was a box to tick. Toastmasters has developed me. I'd like to think that if I was doing it now, I might be a little bit more mindful. But, thank you. But nonetheless, it's like magic, isn't it? But nonetheless, when I find myself doing it, I found myself actually creating a guidance committee, and I found myself getting involved with my team much more, and I found myself really thinking about my leadership style. So high performance leadership, not just a tick box, but a means to a fantastic end. Ladies and gentlemen, DTM is within your grasp, and I cannot wait to see what happens next. Mr. Chair.
Oh, well done, well done.
All folks inspiring?
Absolutely, yeah.
All going for it?
Yes.
Now, you just saw the 5-minute note coming in there, so we're not going to have much time for questions and answers. Would you put questions, answers and comments and a little evaluation, please, of this workshop on the sheets that you have there? So, could we ask the speakers, Kevin and Karen, and I am terrible with Jean as well, to please come up. Any questions, please? I did the Dale Carnegie course to try to remember the name. Didn't work. Yes.
I think it may be Kevin. Oh, sorry. Part of Pathways is going to be digitised, so we're going to be able to do a lot of things online. Would you please say something about how much we can do online as opposed to having doing things manually as we do today?
Yeah. Sorry, Mairead, will you take notes, please, on it? Mairead, I asked to take notes on you on the board there. So,
For the truly keen clubs, and there are already 1 or 2 of those clubs meeting in our district at the moment, you can run a meeting with not a single sheet of paper. That's how digital Pathways would be. Every person in the room can be asked to fill in an evaluation for the speaker, and it's the full evaluation. The speaker will then have that logged onto their profile for forever. It will be kept on their member database. So you can have your agenda on the board, you can have a display screen showing directions to your meeting room. Everybody could have electronic equipment and be typing evaluations, writing onto your touchscreen pads if you have to. You can have not a single piece of paper and run a meeting. That's how digital you can be on one extreme. On the other extreme, you can be completely paper, but TI has indicated that not every single pathway will be completely available on paper.
great, thank you. Next. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Can I ask if any of you know, with the pathways, probably a question for you, Kevin, is it possible for our members to achieve DTM without serving the organisation? That's not me about why I'm here, I'm serving, but it is a concern of mine.
Thanks, Pauline.
So under the current program and under Pathways, you have to serve as a club officer. Okay, so there's no way out of that. There is a loophole out of the current program to skip serving as a district officer. All you do is you join an undistricted club. Whether that loophole will remain under Pathways, I do not know. Currently, districted clubs are required to complete a year of district officer service. TI hasn't given us the nitty-gritty detail about how this loophole, whether it will be shut or not under the Pathways program. But currently, you could join a club in an undistricted region of the world, and once you met all the requirements under the current education program without serving as area director, so on and so forth, you will be a distinguished Toastmaster.
Great, thank you. Adrian, I think you had your hand up there and go close to them.
Very stupid question. I have a member who's near ALS award, and you need the leadership excellence. How do you actually record that, and what's involved in that? Because
When the manual is completed, there are 2 pages. The actual recording, how you record it with TI, you'd photocopy, there's 2 pages in the manual that you need, and your VPE will email them into TI.
I scan them in.
And that's it, and in 2 days you're awarded your...
Because you can't do it online.
That's the only one.
It's the only one that you need to actually send the evidence of the...
And the leadership excellence, it's a manual with 5 projects.
Yeah, leadership excellence, that's the HPL.
That's not the HPL.
That is the HPL.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
It's
that's
an
great.
extra award. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Yes, in Area G44, I've already helped put together an advanced member nurturing programme. We've reviewed everyone's achievements to date and what they need to achieve in the future. That's been part of the discussions individually and through the visit programme. It may still be early days, but I can say that I'm not being swept off my feet with any future offers to be next area director, with any future offers to pick up HBL projects, with any future offers to join new clubs committees. People are still, they're either holding back and still getting used to the idea, or perhaps the DTM isn't the end game for them. They're much more focused on the communication track, they have leadership opportunities through work, they're already directors and things like that. So it's a dangerous assumption to assume that every advanced member lives and dies by the day they get the DTM.
Fellow Toastmasters, I think DTM is a thing to aim for because it is the pinnacle of our achievement, but I think that it means a lot more than just 3 letters, which in my club tends to stand for don't time me, by the way. It's much more than that. Part of it is about developing our own communication skills and getting our message across. And part of it, I think, is about as soon as you start benefiting from Toastmasters, that you start to give back and you start to support other people. And I think while there's a lot of power in us saying, yes, we're going to go for DTM, I think there's a huge amount of power, much further beyond that, about supporting each other to achieve our goal.
Yeah, well done.
So just thank you very much, Jean, for that. I've had a look at the concerns of our members who are angry that their current journey may be curtailed, as Karen puts it, journey, because of the introduction of pathways and the limited transition period. And I put this to you as a district, that although between now and the end of the year, theoretically, we have capacity for 100 more Advanced Leader Silver Awards. Okay, because we have just over 100 district leadership places in the next 2 years. The reality is that if we took data for the past 10 years, only 60 of those will be taken up because we produce roughly 20 DTMs every year. So the true capacity and the express capacity, there's a significant gap. So that's a very valid point.
So I'm conscious that any minute now, Brendan is going to close the meeting, so I just wanted to say one more thing, which is that we have a flip chart, and there's a whole lot of people who want to get their DTMs, and they probably all have email addresses. If you put your email address on this flip chart, then Karen will contact you and start to build a community together.
Yeah. And put your name down. First question on the sheet that you have is about DTM. You want to?
Oh, yes, sorry.
We'd squeeze another one out.
I was just quickly.
I believe waiting and thrown out that.
Yeah, recognising that one of the blocks was HPL, I did in fact start in our area a series of HPL sessions. In 10 years, not a single person had an HPL, and 3 or 4 others. It was the only thing stopping us getting DTM. So we started that. We found what the problem with HPL was the guidance committee. We'd had several cases where people had started a DTM and the guidance committee had abandoned them, left the club, couldn't do anything, so they'd abandoned that. So now we've got a sort of mutual support groups where each one is a guidance committee of the other, and we're meeting every month, and we've now got 7 people going through HPL, and most of those will be DTM this year. But my simple question is, forgive me, I've tried to look this up, but I'm not sure on it. Is it so that the 6-month period that you have to serve as a region, as a director, is it 6 months or is it 12 months? Because if it's 6 months, we can get more people through.
District office is 12 months.
It is 12 months, right?
Club office is 6 months at the moment, 12 months on the pathways.
Ah, right. Well, that's going to reduce our plans, but never mind, we'll work around it. Thank you.
Well done.
I'd just like to say, really talking on the way back, thank you all, panel, very, very much. Give them a big round of applause. Give yourselves a big round of applause for being interested in those things. Get those forms Will and then give us the information, put the information on the flip chart, please. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the conference. I hope you all move on the way you want to. Just enjoy Toastmasters. Thank you all.
Thank you.
That was great.